sorry. No, I get it. Okay. Well, I've been warned. It's good to see you, Betsy. Yeah. Yeah, Luke is talking about supper over here. He's gonna buy everybody dinner for Little Belly's house. Yeah.
I had about another minute and a half. About another minute and a half of that. I was gonna skip out on you.
All right. Who else? Shirley's here. Yeah. Okay.
Good, how are you? All right.
Okay. All right, guys. Put your finger right there. Yeah, John.
Doing pretty good.
That's a confident
I
man.
thought you was gonna have to break a tie.
Well, yeah. I thought I was going to have 12 with them voting.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't run into what we ran into a couple of years ago with the casino thing where I didn't vote. And back in '97, they said you had to have at least 5 yeses on a planning commission
yeah.
vote. I didn't vote, but if I had have, it would have been against also. But, so if we'd only got 4, so we would have had to go the next month anyway.
Yeah.
But 3 lawsuits hit them and they never ripped. So that was good.
Huh.
Did we have Okay. All righty. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and call the June Planning Commission meeting to order, and we'll start off with our regular housekeeping items. Thank you all for being patient with us from the previous meeting here. But Commissioner Black, will you take a roll, please?
Miller?
Here.
Choate? Here. Black's here. Moss? Hadley? Here. Duffin? Here. Mitchell? Coffin?
Here.
Clear? Here. Mr. Keller? Here. Okay, we have a quorum.
We have a quorum. All right. If everybody's had the opportunity to look over last month's minutes, we'll entertain a motion to accept those.
Please place them on file.
All right. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Hearing, any nays? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right. We have some unfinished business here. Rezoning a property from C1 to C2 located at 120 East Main Street, submitted by Joshua Spence. Victoria, you have a staff report on that?
Yes, sir, I do. Again, so this is unfinished business from last month, so you'll probably recognize most of my staff report. This is a rezoning at 120 East Main Street. Existing conditions, this is located within the downtown commercial business district. This is an existing vacant paved lot located just west of Mobley Law Firm. Adjacent uses include First Christian Church, Into Market, previously known as Burris, a tax prep business, a mixed-use commercial building, and it is across from CVS. This property is currently zoned C1, Central Business District. All surrounding properties, except for the one directly to the west, are also zoned C1. The mixed-use property directly to the west is zoned C2 Highway Commercial. This commercial building was rezoned in 2005 to allow for the freestanding sign that is on the property. We did touch on this last month, but just wanted to reiterate that was the only reason staff could find that that rezoning was requested was for that freestanding sign in 2005. The applicant is requesting to rezone this property in order to open a heavy tool and equipment rental / sales business at this location to sell small mini excavators. In mid-March, code enforcement was notified of a complaint of mini excavators being sold in the 100 block of East Main Street. At that point, the applicant removed the equipment from the site and then came in and visited with planning staff. When he discovered it was not possible for them to carry on business activities within this location, the applicant then applied for this rezoning. So in our review, 3 things must be considered for a rezoning. First, future and current land uses of the area, the Reimagine Russellville 2040 Comprehensive Plan, and then lastly, the value or income potential of the property. So hitting that first mark, the future and current land uses, this is part of the downtown district currently and is shown to remain in the downtown district as part of the future land use map. When reviewing this application against the zoning map, there is one C2 zoned property in the area. Again, however, that property is spot zoned. So despite this property being adjacent to that C2 zoned property, rezoning this property would simply extend the spot zoning in a manner that is not in line with the comprehensive plan. The applicant is requesting to rezone this property specifically to allow the sale of those mini excavators. Staff does not believe that this would be in line with the future or current land uses of the area. If rezoned to highway commercial, all uses within the C2 zoning district could be applied to this property. While the use for these small mini excavator sales may not be in line with the character of the downtown district, it would be much less intrusive than other potential businesses that are permitted within that C2. Meaning that if this property was rezoned for this specific use, there is nothing to guarantee that that use will be carried out at this location and not something much more intrusive and detrimental to the character of this area. This was a question we received last month, so I just wanted to give you guys like a quick screen cap of things that may be permitted in the C2 that are not permitted in the C1 zone. On the left, you're going to see items that would be permitted outright, and on the right, you're going to see items that would be permitted via special use in that C2 zone. Again, that would be opened up if this rezoning were completed. Not going to go over all of them, just going to kind of hit a few. Outright permitted would be things such as a restaurant with a drive-through, a gas station, manufactured home sales, mini storages, several auto-oriented uses such as a body shop and a car wash. And then permitted via special use, you're looking at, contractor storage areas, storage building sales, auto wrecker service, and then some industrial uses as well. So in the Reimagine Russellville 2040 Comprehensive Plan, it defines the downtown area, or downtown district rather, as an area where multi-story buildings accommodating a mixture of uses inside individual structures exist. The area has well-designed streetscapes and public spaces that vary in nature. Cars are parked and then pedestrians navigate the downtown by foot. This property and all surrounding properties are within that downtown district per the comprehensive plan. The only related zoning category in the comprehensive plan for the downtown district is C1. As you can see from the map above, the box in yellow is the subject property. That light green shading is going to be the downtown district per the comprehensive plan. So as you can see, it is completely surrounded on all sides by that downtown district. To remain consistent with the comprehensive plan and retain the fabric of the downtown district, it would serve the public interest best by retaining the existing zoning classification. Lastly, value or income potential of the property. Changing the zone from central business district to highway commercial could increase the income or value potential of the property. Although they are both commercial districts, going to a higher intensity commercial zone typically would increase the value or income potential of the property. The C2 highway commercial zone offers many more permitted uses and therefore would open up an entirely new market of potential buyers if rezoned. Staff did also want to touch on this. This is new from our presentation last month. It was tabled last month as a result of you all asking for us to kind of go back to the drawing board and see if there was anything else we could potentially do to allow this. Unfortunately, in doing our due diligence, staff does not believe that there is any other use category that the sale of mini excavators could fit into besides heavy tool and equipment rental/sales. There were specific questions I recall regarding whether or not this could be considered an auto-related use due to the smaller horsepower of these specific mini excavators. While staff does understand this argument, in our research there is a clear delineation between heavy equipment such as mini excavators and automobiles such as cars, trucks, and even side-by-sides. We did reach out to the DMV to kind of clear this up as well, and they confirmed that heavy equipment such as mini excavators are not permitted to be tagged, titled, or driven legally on the street, whereas automobiles, cars, trucks, and in Arkansas, even side-by-sides in some cases can be tagged and titled through the DMV and are street legal. While auto uses are permitted to drive on public streets when properly tagged and titled, a mini excavator would have to be hauled by another vehicle, again, unless you're popping over to, an adjacent property to do work. Therefore, this would make rezoning the only path forward for this specific use to occur at this property. Staff is unable to recommend approval as a result of the findings that the rezoning would not be in line with future and current land uses in the area. All adjacent properties except for a spot zone property to the west are zoned C1. The future land use map indicates that this will remain in the downtown district, and the proposal does not align with the Reimagine Russellville 2040 comprehensive plan. That is my staff report. Are there any questions for staff? I know there are several folks signed up to speak, but if there's any specific questions for staff at this time, I welcome those as well.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, could you go back to the list of permitted
The
uses,
uses?
either outright permitted?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
So really, the best way to look at this is not just how would it be used now,
Correct.
but it's to look at all future use for this property based on that, and that's not even a comprehensive list.
Yes, sir. So that's kind of what we have to do when we're looking at the comprehensive plan and stuff like that. We've got to have that long-term vision, I guess, for lack of a better term, to look at what does this mean now, but also what does this mean 10 years from now, 5 years from now, when the property may change hands.
100%. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, guys.
All right. Okay. We've got some people signed up here to speak. Barboric? State your name. Anytime you come to the microphone, guys, if y'all all state your name for the record so we can get it on our minutes, please.
All right. Good evening. My name is Greg Barboric. I am actually the chair of the Historic District Commission as well. But just wanted to come in tonight, and I'm actually against this idea of rezoning. The main reason being there is when we look back right now, I think this is up here because we're dealing with an adjacent C2 that was spot zone 20 years ago. So what I would like y'all to keep in mind is, what does this do as far as setting another precedent? If this area is rezoned as C2, is this going to open us up to, the area around it? I think everybody can agree the downtown area, what's going on is a great thing. It's become, just a lively place. I had the pleasure of starting to work downtown for about 10 years in 1993, and it was a completely different dead place. So I think we've got a real asset now that's going on downtown, and this area that is designated in the 2040 plan is a great thing, and I think it's just important that we keep it zoned as is so that the downtown area can utilize all of the area, and that we try to avoid setting any further precedents for rezoning requests in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Okay.
I'm just going to pop in with a reminder. People signed up to speak have 3 minutes. I
Right.
believe they're going to put a countdown up. Yep, awesome. Thank you, guys. So there's going to be a countdown up
Okay.
on the screen.
Thank you. I appreciate. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. All right. Betsy McGuire, come on down.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Betsy McGuire. I, too, serve as a commission on the Historic District Commission. I was previously the chairperson until Greg graciously took over that role. I also serve as the vice president for Friends of the Lattimore Tourist Home, and I serve as vice president for that board of directors. Those of you may know me, some of you don't. I've probably spent 30-plus years in my professional life and in my volunteer life working with preservation-based economic and community development issues. I have learned a lot about what works, what doesn't work, and those things that we treasure in our community. I want to remind you all, they've talked about the Reimagine Russellville 2040 plan. There was also a previous downtown plan that was integrated into that comprehensive community-wide master plan. This proposed rezoning does not fit in with either one of those plans. I know you all treasure this community and want to do what's right for it. That property sits right at the intersection of two major state highways. And one of those highways is the scenic 7 byway. Think about what you want that intersection to look like in the future. That's the place that many visitors to Russellville make their first assumption about what we care about in our community. I know that some of you had made great investment, not only downtown, but throughout the community. What can we do to protect that? And in all of our roles, there are so many things that we can't do to protect the things that need protected in our community, but this rezoning request is one of those things that we can make a decision on. And so I ask you all to deny this this request for rezoning. Thank you.
All right. Sarah?
Good evening. Sarah John Dahl here, the city's Historic Preservation Officer. Just wanting to ask you all to consider, Greg has already talked about just the downtown and the improvements, and Betsy's talked about the comprehensive plan and the downtown master plan. But this site really does occupy that transitional area between our historic downtown and the rest of our community. It also is the transitional area between downtown and First Christian Church. And I know that there are several here from the church, but that's one of Russellville's individually listed properties, individually National Register listed properties. And unfortunately, over time, we have lost some of the structures that stand between downtown and that structure as we continue to allow changes to our zoning code or zoning for that area from C1 to C2 that could further be detrimental to that transition. We are losing more and more, and the remaining parcels become increasingly important in maintaining the visual and functional relationship between our historic resources. My concern isn't necessarily particular with what they are proposing to put on that property, is just overall the change from C1 to C2. The C1 district was originally established to encourage development patterns that complement downtown, including buildings oriented to the street, meaning that they're closer to the street, parking located to the side or to the rear, and site designs that support a walkable pedestrian environment. By contrast, that C2 designation would allow a broader range of uses, as Victoria pointed out, and development patterns that are designed for vehicles and larger front yard setbacks. They may not be as compatible with the character and gateway appearance of our historic downtown. We are continuing to make significant investments in our downtown and in the revitalization, the historic preservation, and our placemaking efforts. I really encourage you all to carefully consider how the zoning decisions on the properties surrounding the district may affect those investments and the overall character of the area in the future. I really do thank you for your time and consideration. I will also note that you did receive a letter from Judy Galloway, and that should have been in the file for you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Suzanne, you ready to get up here and tell us about it?
Suzanne Alford. I'm a member of the Historic District Commission. I don't have much more to say except that I live in a newly designated historic neighborhood, and I was driving around this location today, and there are actually homes in that area, in addition to a beautiful historic church, and several of their members are here tonight. I would like to see the neighborhood around in this area, which has a lot of historic homes, be also designated as an important neighborhood. So Other than that, I think everything has been covered. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there any other names added to that? Did anyone miss Simon Sheehan? Yeah. No, yeah, you have to come to the microphone. State your name for the record. He can't hear.
My name is Marty Young, and I just found out about this today. I'm speaking as a member of the First Christian Church, the historic First Christian Church. We've been there 120 years. We, like a lot of other churches, struggle. But in our struggle, we're also finding money and man hours to commit to this community. Many, many dollars and many man hours we commit to this community because we love it. We had a neighbor ask us if he could put up a sign not too long ago that would block our sign, and we regretfully told him no. We can't afford to even have our sign blocked. We're down there. We need to be seen. If something is put here, especially that doesn't fit I lost my word, the C1, which is bad enough, it could easily block us. The other point is, so much money has been put into the beautification of downtown Russellville. I'm sorry about tractors, but do we want to put a tractor lot in the middle of that? Do we want the people who come to Russellville coming over the overpass to come down and, oh, there's a tractor store? It needs to be something attractive. That might be a minor thought, but to me it's not. And the church certainly is not. So I have to ask, along with the others, if you would please not allow this, because C2 is a rough code to be putting downtown anywhere. Thank you.
Is there anybody else?
Josh Spence, obviously I'm the property owner. Pretty big turnout tonight for opposing, but with things, I expect, change, there's gonna be some pushback. To me, I'm the opposite way. I think, I think it brings an attraction, opportunity to people to buy cheaper equipment. I'm not asking I see what you are saying about changing hands in the future. It could do that, but man, it's the only vacant lot in that whole area that has a potential to do something different. It's undeveloped. It's a parking lot. Everybody uses it but me. I'm the only one that can't use it. The public uses it. Matter of fact, last month we had a meeting. The mayor called a meeting for downtown parking issues. I talked to a bunch of people off to the side about, hey, they could use my parking lot for free. I'm not allowed to use it. Everybody said, that's not part of downtown. That's too far of a walk. We don't want to use it. I said, okay. I also work for the Union Pacific Railroad. Offered possibly using some of the property of the railroad tracks. Too far away from downtown. No one wants to walk that far. Even the new parking lots they build across the other tracks. People don't want to park there. Too far of a walk. Common sense tells me this is not part of downtown, historical downtown. It's not. It's over by the courthouse, going up an overpass. And you get over the overpass, you get into industrial, you get into restaurants, you get into everything. From there, going, I guess you'd say, toward outer skirts of downtown. I'd understand if it was on the other side of the stoplight, but it's not. It's a parking lot. As a business owner, you're right. It's the most visible spot in town, so therefore it'd be a great spot to advertise something cheap and affordable for anybody who wants to buy it. If you take a look at where Cars is at, from my location, we are almost exactly the identical distance to the downtown old train station. There is no difference. And they have 50 of them out there. So I don't really know what else to say besides hope you guys take in consideration as a business owner that tries to bring development to this town for businesses, that you guys rezone it. I think that's the only proper and right thing to do. So. Yeah. I put them in a warehouse out there by Oscars. That's where they're at. I mean, it's not on off the beaten path, you know what I mean? Like, that's an advertised spot. I mean, that place gets 70,000 people go by it every day where it's at. So, I mean, when I put them out there last time, I sold 5 within a week. So, I mean, that's why I bought that lot, for visibility. Matter of fact, I parked a car out there for sale. Within an hour, I got turned into code enforcement for parking a car. Everybody sells cars in parking lots around here. So I sold it, then code enforcement says, I don't see a problem with that. Selling one, just don't put 2 or 3 out there. Sold it, moved it within like a week or something like that. Parked another one out there, code enforcement right back on top of us. It's almost harassment. You know, I mean, anytime we do anything out there, people abandon cars there. Like I said, I don't control who parks there. It's almost a public park. It's private property, to be honest with you. But anybody parks cars there, and anytime someone leaves something overnight, code enforcement's there on top of us. So. Yeah, there is a boat there. There was a semi-truck there for a couple days over weekend. You know whose ideas it was. I didn't want to tow it off, but you know what I mean? So someone parked an 18-wheeler there. So like I said, everybody uses the parking lot but myself. So, any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Victoria, Gavin, either one of you guys. I asked this question last month. I just want to ask it again for the record. I think you've clarified it in your comments, but we've researched, we've identified there is no legally enforceable way or alternative other than rezoning at this point
That is
that
correct.
would allow for use of
That
this
is
specific
correct.
business.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I just have another question, Mr. Spence. Did you check on the zoning of this property before you bought it to sell those there?
Did not. My first intended use was to just park overflow cars there, park them in our business, and then just kind of develop into this.
Commissioners?
I'll make a motion to deny.
Okay, we have a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
I will second that, but I believe we have to make the recommendation to forward it with the denial to city council.
That's what that does. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor of passing this on to city council, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay. All right. New business. Large-scale development for a mini self-storage facility located at 250 Lexington Avenue, submitted by Barrett & Associates on behalf of Ethan Stahl. You have a staff report on that, Gavin?
Yes, sir, we do. As stated, this is a large-scale development located at 250 Lexington Avenue. I know we've been here for a while this evening. I apologize that large scales are naturally a little lengthier, so please bear with me through this. Currently, this is This property is a minimally improved vacant lot within the East Main Commercial District. The property is entirely surrounded by C2 highway commercial zoning. Surrounding uses include other vacant fields, a water tower, local tire and wheel, which is located on the same piece of property, an insurance company, and an Arkansas Valley Farmers Association facility. In the review of this proposal in the C2 Highway Commercial Zone, Section 2.10.2 refers you to the table of permitted uses where a self-storage use is a permitted use and is subject to the provisions contained in the Land Subdivision Code pertaining to large-scale developments. In the Land Subdivision Development Code, LSDC, Section 7, it states that any large-scale development meeting any one of the following criteria shall be reviewed by the Planning Commission prior to issuance of a building permit or other city permit. Article 7.2.1 states that buildings or developments placed on a plot of real property 5 acres or larger, and Article 7.2.2 states any development containing an existing building or buildings with combined square footage of 15,000 square feet or larger. Therefore, the applicant has met the checklist items for Article 7.4. Article 2.10.3 site plan review is required and will be completed prior to issuance of a building permit. The application provided with this application, along with additional details outlined below, will be needed to be completed at review. 2.10.4 area regulations. Storage buildings appear to meet setback requirements for the C2 zone, but will be confirmed with site plan review prior to any permit issuance. Article 2.10.5, parking regulations. For C2 zones, there is no minimum amount of parking, and parking shall be demonstrated to be sufficient via a parking analysis conducted to the specifications outlined in Article 6.1.15 of the zoning code. No staff will be on site, and the office facility for administering the mini storage shall be located in the local tire and wheel facility immediately south on the same piece of property. ADA parking is deemed sufficient for the amount of parking proposed. Article 3.13, self-storage units. Developments of this nature must comply with regulations outlined under this article, in addition to commercial building and site design. Further, any self-storage unit facility located within or adjacent to any zone other than M1 or M2 industrial zones have additional regulations that come into effect. Therefore, this development does trigger these additional regulations. The applicant has demonstrated compliance with both sections 3.13.1 as well as the additional regulatory provisions in 3.13.2. Compliance will be further confirmed during site plan review. Article 3.22, commercial building and site design. The site appears to meet commercial site design standards in regards to parking layout and pedestrian circulation. This will be fully confirmed during site plan review. Article 3.23.13, this development does trigger the sidewalk requirements, and the applicant has shown that there will be a 5-foot sidewalk along their frontage. Article 4.1, the applicant is proposing a 6-foot fence surrounding the entirety of the site. Screening requirements outlined in Article 3.13 shall be confirmed at site plan review. Article 5.1, landscaping required. This development does trigger the landscaping requirements per Article 5.3.1 as it is a new commercial development. All relevant landscaping, there's a lot there, I'll kind of just sum it up. All relevant landscaping provisions are demonstrated to be met. There is not sufficient interior parking for there to trigger the landscape island provision. Further, Article 7 regarding signage, any new signs will require a separate sign permit and must be submitted to permitting for review. Article 6.1, parking. There will be no minimum number of spaces required, and as previously stated, minimal staffing will be on site. A statement or parking analysis will be required with the building permit and shall, at a minimum, provide the following: the number of off-street parking spaces proposed, the number of shared parking or on-street parking that will be used in the parking calculation, expected number of employees, customers, or guests maximally at any given time, and any other information that may show planning staff that sufficient parking will be proposed. Article 6.1.6, driveways. The applicant is proposing to utilize an existing curb cut for a gated 24-foot wide entry, which is permitted by code. The proposal additionally includes gravel behind the fenced-in area where a majority of the storage units shall be located. The fence will be screened so that gravel cannot be seen from the right-of-way, and therefore this vehicle storage area will be permissible. It is staff's recommendation that the Planning Commission approve the large-scale development to allow construction of a new self-storage facility with the following condition: that the applicant provide details as noted as being required to confirm compliance at site plan review. as a result of the findings that the applicant has expressed their commitment to adhere to zoning regulations and that the applicant has demonstrated compliance with regulations within Section 7 of the Land Subdivision and Development Code. Are there any questions for staff at this time?
All right. Thank you, Gavin.
Thank you.
Dave, you got anything to add to that? Thought you might.
Dave Garza for the applicant. This would be the first mini storage that I've done that's not on a major street. It's behind it, so I kind of like that. Another thing, a good thing about this is it's going to be owned by the owner of the tire store. So Monday through Saturday that the tire store is open, somebody's always watching that storage unit. So it's going to have security by its own employees. So just to add those two things, I think that's a good feature. That's all I have.
Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
Motion approved, staff recommended.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve this request as presented. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right. Let's go to item number 2 here, and our last item. Special use permit to allow a portable building sales business located at 3616 East Main Street, submitted by Keisha Patton on behalf of Hagen's Family Properties. Gavin, you got a report on that?
Yes, sir, we do. As stated, this is a special use permit application at 3616 East Main Street. This is located in the rural East City character area. This property is the proposed site of a booth-based retail operation with a peripheral use as a portable building sales location pending approval of both business licenses and special use permit. I would just like to add as an addendum, the business license for the booth-based retail portion has already been approved. So that part of the facility is already in operation. It is surrounded by C2 highway commercial zoning to the west and north, R4 manufactured home park or subdivision to the east, and R2 medium density residential to the south. Surrounding uses include an Amcor warehouse to the west, a manufactured home park to the east, and a vacant 9-acre commercial lot on the opposing north side of East Main Street. The property owner will be utilizing the primary building on the property as a retail facility, specializing in outdoor recreation sales. Again, it says pending business license approval, but that portion of the facility has already had business license approval. The applicant will be subletting space from the property owner in order to place 15 to 20 portable buildings on the property for retail purposes. You can see the site plan attached for the staging concept. The intent of Article 3.22 Commercial Building Design seeks to maintain good civic design and arrangement within commercial corridors by assuring a desired aesthetic environment. Special use permits are typically reviewed by answering these 5 questions. Are the plans designed to be in visual harmony with buildings either in the same vicinity or along the same commercial corridor? Do the plans express individual design and creativity without detracting from the visual environment to the point at which the values of adjoining properties will be negatively recognized? Are the plans appropriate to the context in which they reside? Generally, do the plans not detract from the aesthetics of the location, area, and community as a whole? And finally, does the proposed use meet the spirit and intent of this section of the zoning code? So just jumping into the first set of questions, are the plans designed to be in visual harmony with buildings either in the same vicinity or along the same commercial corridor? Staff found that this portion of the rural East City area, that runs along East Main Street is a mix of rural and industrial uses. Portable building sales could be in line with the rural East City character area. Portable buildings are relatively commonplace on the east side of the city, and so these buildings being visible from the right-of-way would likely minimally impact the overall visual harmony of the rural East City character area. Do the plans express individual design and creativity without detracting from the visual environment to the point at which the values of adjoining properties will be negatively recognized? The site design as presented demonstrates thoughtful and creative distribution of parking, staging, and green areas in a way that is compact and accessible despite the larger size of the parcel. No clearing will occur anywhere on the parcel, and the portable building sales will be close to the existing buildings. Are the plans appropriate for the context in which they reside? Again, to reiterate from question 1, the rural East City character area along East Main Street is primarily a mix of industrial and miscellaneous rurally oriented uses. This area transitions from the higher intensity East Main commercial and airport industrial districts to the lower intensity near the city limits. 4, generally do the plans not detract from the aesthetics of the location, area, and community as a whole? Again, restating from the answer to question 1, portable buildings are relatively commonplace on the east side of the city, and so these buildings being visible from the right-of-way would likely minimally impact the overall visual harmony of the rural East City character area. Finally, the proposed use meets the spirit and intent of this section of the zoning code in light of staff's findings so far. Staff does find that the proposed use does indeed meet the spirit and intent of the zoning code. In light of this, staff does recommend approval of the special use permit to allow for portable building sales with the following condition: that the applicant shall not stage portable buildings in the setback area based on the findings that the proposed development aligns with the intent of Article 3.22. The mixture of uses is appropriate within the commercial corridor. The applicant demonstrates thoughtful design complementing neighboring uses. The applicant demonstrates compliance with the regulations within Article 2.10, Article 5, and Article 6 of the Russellville Zoning Code, and the proposal promotes orderly development and supports the intent of the zoning code. Are there any further questions for staff at this time?
Thank you, Gavin.
Thank you.
Is Keisha Patton, are you here? Did you have anything to add to that at all, or you're good? Okay. All right. Commissioners?
Black, motion to approve as presented by staff.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the special use permit. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right, and if there's no other business, did you have something you wanted to? Okay, all right.